Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the Basics of Life. My name is Ken Burkey, and Scott Sinner is in the house, and we have a great topic today.
Yeah, we do.
We're going to talk about the Oakland Raiders draft. Was it an A? Was it a B? Was it a C? You might as well call it an A.
For a real Raider fan, it's an A, because it's been a long time coming when we actually draft to build a team.
Yeah, what did you draft? First round, a punter? Isn't that what you guys usually do?
Yeah. Or a quarterback that you never see ever again.
Well,
no, we a linebacker. He's good, man.
So today we're going to talk about that. Wise choices. No, we're not. So what do you want to talk about today?
Well, actually what I want to talk about is two decisions that if you can practice these in life, you'll experience life at a higher level of joy, contentment, peace. I mean, there's all kinds of benefits that come with it, but it's basically just two choices that if you make them, it's going to work.
And you were saying that we have the ability to make them.
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, I got this great quote. It's from a guy named Viktor Frankl, and he's a concentration camp survivor. So his situation and circumstance in life was horrific, but this is what he says. Everything can be taken from a man but one thing: to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's way.
I disagree. I'd like to blame my attitude on everyone else.
Right.
In every circumstance. So So these two decisions are based on that. We have the power to make these two decisions.
Absolutely. We do not have to relinquish power to circumstance. We can control it.
Two decisions.
Two.
Okay.
Very simple.
Are you going to give them away yet, or are you going to hold off for a while?
No, I'm going to give you both away. We're going to work through each one of them right now. So the first one is, when faced with any kind of circumstance in life, so we're going to deal with mostly difficult ones, because those, it's easy to be okay in life when everything's grand.
Right.
When we faced with difficult circumstances, the first decision is this: resist the temptation to whine and complain.
Oh, come on. That's ruining all the fun in life.
Because this is naturally where we go all the time.
Right.
So just for fun, think about this. Have you over the last year, complained about money, weight, your in-laws, traffic, possessions, relationship, money, health, food, age, boss, weather, money? If you complained about your car, your house, your church, your community, your government, or money. If you complained about your school, favorite restaurant, your video game unit, the lack of water in Folsom Lake, or money. Tell me if you've complained at least once about that over the last year.
No, I haven't. I refuse to complain. I'm going to complain about this show, though, because this is very irritating.
But this is naturally where we go.
Right. It's human nature. And it's amazing how quickly we can go there.
Right. So first of all, complaining and whining doesn't do any good. It actually does the reverse. It spirals you out of control.
Right.
But there's an interesting article that I found on the internet about some research.
Well, then it must be true.
It has to be true. But some doctors researched this, and it said brain researchers have found that complaining actually affects the way your brain works. And you can have some pretty negative consequences to this. They explain that the brain works much more like a muscle than originally thought. They say that if you listen to or are someone being negative for a long time, you're more likely to behave that way. And here's the clincher. It says, what's worse, it can even make you dumb.
Wow.
It says researchers found that being exposed to more than 30 minutes of negativity takes away neurons in the brain's hippocampus, the part of the brain that uses to solve problems.
Wow. So that's my problem.
Yeah.
So what's interesting about this, though, you said, it's easy when we have problems to go down this thing of complaining, but we can complain with just pettiness, even when things are going well.
Exactly.
I mean, you can just become kind of a lifestyle of a complainer, which not only affects, like you just said, your brain, but it affects your relationships, because people tend to avoid complainers. They don't want to hang around you.
Absolutely. It affects everything, and it does no good. That's the bottom line. It absolutely does no good.
So here I am. I'm faced with a difficult situation, or I'm frustrated with something.
Right.
And my human nature is to complain.
Right.
I mean, I don't want to get dumber, so I'm not going to do that.
Right.
I don't. It's not going to do any good. So then what do I do with it?
Well, in this one, we have to kind of learn to accept life's imperfections, because everything's imperfect.
Right.
That's all this life has to offer.
Right.
As a matter of fact, your spouse, your kids, your job, everything's imperfect.
Right.
So you have to get used to the fact of accepting these little imperfections in life.
Yeah. I think it's helpful too to really realize, it's normal. Everybody's dealing with this. Sometimes we tend to think, well, I'm the only one.
Right.
But everybody's dealing with imperfection of life, and all the struggles that brings.
Right, and when you complain and whine, it takes the joy out of life. So first of all, you resist the temptation to complain and whine, accept the little imperfections in life.
Okay, that's the first decision.
That's the first decision.
Okay, no whining.
No complaining.
Okay, all right. That's a lot of work.
I think the second one is really the nitty gritty of it. It's learn to express gratitude often and regularly. Because there are all kinds of benefits and changes that come along with the expression of gratitude for all kinds of things.
Right.
It's an important decision because when I choose to express gratitude, what it actually means is I'm actually taking control of my life, and I experience life at a higher level of joy and peace and happiness. I just do.
Yeah.
It's a fact.
Yeah, Henry Nouwen, we quote it all the time because we think, well, I will be grateful when I feel joyful or happy.
Right.
But the studies have actually shown when you are grateful, that the byproduct of that is you feel joyful.
Absolutely.
And if we wait to feel in order to express gratitude, then we'll never get there.
Right. It's the absolute inverse. Gratification or expressing gratitude actually ushers in joy, peace, and stuff like that. Yeah.
And sometimes what's interesting about that is you will see some of the most joyful people who are in pretty difficult circumstances.
Right.
But they've chosen not to complain.
Right.
And they've chosen to be grateful, not in a weird way, like, I'm grateful for bad things happening. But,
right.
But you said something, there's always something to be grateful for.
Right. And we're actually going to talk about that because, I'm not grateful for all circumstances, but we're going to talk about that in just a second. That's a good point.
So the human nature, though, is to focus in on the negative.
Right.
And so it's beginning to change our vision to start to focus in on the good things.
Right. Because this is the power of gratitude. The first thing is it changes your perspective.
Yeah.
I'll never forget this. My daughter, we were leaving the house, and I had a lot of stuff to do that day, and I was very frustrated, and I was whining and moan, come on, let's go, because she's she's a little gal, and she's just enjoying the moment, know. And so I go around the corner of my house, I'm by my car, and I'm like, let's go, Brooke. And she's at the door. She said, Dad, you got to come here. I go, Brooke, we have to go. She goes, no, Dad, you have to come here. Look, so, I walk over there in just in a rant and a rave, trying, I gotta get to some place. And she's standing looking at the ground like this. She's just standing looking at the ground like this. I'm going, what is going on? And I get even more frustrated. So I walk up to her and go, what's the deal? And she goes, Dad, look at this leaf.
Wow.
Look how pretty this leaf is. And I'm like, super frustrated for a second.
Right.
Because I'm like, I gotta go. But then I look at the leaf.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Isn't that just beautiful? And it changed perspective in life completely at that moment. Like, it's really important.
Right.
Yeah,
we can get so fast-paced and so focused on what not working or what we have to do, and we just miss out on the simple things, the beauty of life.
Right. There's a scripture in the Bible that you referred to. Or Paul said, give thanks in all circumstances. Now you have to read that right.
Right.
He doesn't say give thanks for all circumstances, because not all circumstances we should give thanks for.
Right.
Loss of a loved one, somebody loses their house because of unemployment. I'm not going to give thanks for that.
Right.
What he said is give thanks in all circumstances, and there's a reason why. Is because, first of all, it changes our perspective and lets us know that God is with us.
Yeah.
That's a promise of the Bible.
Yeah.
That no matter what circumstance we're facing in life, God is with us. He's involved. He's right there with us.
Yeah, it's that's huge. I was thinking also, like with your daughter, children are just better at being in awe of just the awe of life.
Right.
Like we wake up in the morning and we get up and we're out, instead of waking up and going, well, I'm alive.
Right.
I woke up. You
Right.
know, it's really going back and being grateful for just life.
Yeah.
And all the things that we take for granted.
Right.
I was thinking of the first time a kid will fly in a plane, and as you're taking off, you're in awe and you're in wonder of, oh, look at the ground, and then by your 40th flight in life, you're like, get this thing,
right.
and we lose the awe and the wonder of just this plane taking off and the beauty of the earth and all of those things. And that's what your daughter was like, wow, that's amazing.
So she's fully in the moment. I'm not.
Right.
I'm whining, complaining, so I'm not enjoying the moment of life.
So there you go. fully in the moment is
Right.
one of the ways gratefulness is being more fully in the moment.
Right. It changes. Yeah. It changes our perspective from what we don't have to what we do have.
Good. I like that.
Yeah, it's really good.
What else?
Second thing is the expression of gratitude also changes my environment. In other words, gratitude is contagious.
Right.
So
and so is grumbling. So
yeah, exactly. They're
Right.
both like infectious to people.
Right.
So if I make the decision that I'm going to express gratitude often and regularly, no matter what circumstance I'm in, it'll affect the people around me.
Yeah.
It means I can affect my family
Right.
positively. I can affect my friends positively. I can affect my community positively, the people that I'm in. It is contagious.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, that's if you lead anything, if you're a parent, you're a leader, you're going to set the tone.
Right.
And it will filter to your team or to your kids. It'll be a complaining family,
Right.
or it'll be an optimistic, grateful kind of family.
Right.
That's huge. And we have to recognize that because we do impact those around us.
Right. So, you've got these circumstances that are happening. Most people will grumble and complain, and most people will, spiral out of control and they'll miss life. But you have the control to get your perspective back on track to what's really important, and you have the opportunity to spread that in an infectious way to other people. Gratitude's a powerful tool.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And that's why the Bible talks about give thanks in all things, because the opposite of that is the negative side
Right,
of it.
right.
So,
As a matter of fact, there's another scripture from the same writer, and he says, "Do nothing with grumbling and complaining." Nothing.
yeah, nothing.
Yeah.
And it does. It just changes. It changes everything. And again, I keep reiterating that a lot of this doesn't have to. You said at the beginning, it's not about circumstances.
Right.
Because I know people who, life's great, man. A lot of people would trade their life for that life, and they're grumbling and complaining. And
Right.
then you got people going through difficult circumstances. And,
Right.
I mean, not to go down too many paths, but your dad in the last stages of cancer, and one of the most grateful human beings you would ever meet, because
Absolutely.
his perspective, he understood.
Right.
And he was grateful for each moment. And anyway,
that was an amazing thing. His perspective was, had a whole lot of things that he enjoyed each moment of life, just like you said. He knew that he had those moments, even though his time was short.
yeah.
But he also knew that God was going to be with him in the transition from this earth to eternity.
Right.
So he was able to be grateful for the whole thing.
Right.
I mean, it's really interesting. He wasn't grateful for cancer.
No. It's not. Yeah, and what you're talking about, I like. This is not denial. Just
Right.
everything's great.
Right.
No, it's not. Everything's great. But in the struggles, in the good times and bad times, there's just thankfulness of life.
Right. Right.
And that God's there with us.
Right.
So you have one more, or do you have?
Yeah, there's one more.
14 more.
No.
So the two decisions, you're just helping us live out what does gratitude
Right.
do? But it's don't complain.
Right.
Don't complain. Be grateful.
Be grateful. So that's basically
That
it.
sounds like one of my messages. I mean, just here's the depth of my life. Don't complain. But no, it's very memorable. I love it.
Yeah,
if we
simplicity.
live this out,
Right.
it changes everything.
The last one's really interesting because gratitude is a spiritual practice. Whether you have a faith or not, gratitude is a spiritual practice that's found in the scriptures that comes with a promise. That whenever we express gratitude, God responds to that. And he responds in such a way that we feel his presence.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting. If you'll look at characters in the Bible, they experienced all kinds of hardships and for their faith and for other things. But they were always grateful because they knew that God was with them and they felt his presence. Even David writes about that in the Old Testament. He says, the Lord's my shepherd, I shall not want. It makes me lie down beside green pastures, leads me beside still waters. That's all that good stuff. He senses his presence there. But he says, even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I'll fear no evil, for thou art with me.
Yeah.
So he was grateful that God went through him through all aspects of life, and not just part of it. So the spiritual practice of gratitude actually ushers in the presence of God in your life.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, I just love people who are grateful, because you can see that peace.
Right.
You can see that strength.
Right.
It ushers in what Paul says, when you're close to God, you experience joy and patience and all those things that we need, self-control,
Right.
all of those things. That really comes from just being grateful.
That's right.
Very
exactly
powerful.
right. Yeah.
Any last words, any last thoughts on this? It's pretty simple, but it's good stuff. It's very good.
Yeah.
In fact, I need to get better at this.
I think the one I'd like to focus on the most is changes your environment. I mean, we experience this over at Green Valley all the time. We have people who have come from some very tragic, tough, hard life circumstances. But when they start to express gratitude about what God has done in life, the environment at the church is a celebration.
Right, right.
I mean, for example, our 9th birthday for Celebrate Recovery was last night, and these people, though having tough circumstances in life, all you heard was the gratefulness of what God had done in their life. And what did it do? It spreads like through the whole congregation. You could feel it last night.
Right.
It's a powerful tool, and for people need to remember that, happiness and joy is a result of starting with gratitude.
Right.
I don't express gratitude after that. I start with that, and that's what the result is.
Yeah, and that's why I love the Psalms, like you were saying, these songs that David wrote from his gut, and there was, he would be real honest, and I think part of gratitude is honesty, is he would say, hey man, life stinks, I'm struggling, and he'd just go through and list all of his, and then he'd say, but I will still thank you, I will still praise you, but I'm still, overjoyed by, he knew God was there with him.
His faithfulness, God's faithfulness to him,
right.
even in all that tough.
Right, yeah. Which I think again is important. It's not the denial of tough times.
No.
That's Pollyanna.
Right.
That's just shallow.
Right.
How are you? I'm great. Everything's great.
Yeah.
No. I'm going through some difficult things, but I'm grateful.
Right.
I'm grateful. And again, I would do something too. I would write down. This is maybe just a practice for people. But to spend some time and write down what you're thankful for.
Right.
And why.
Right.
Because the why will really get deep. You'll realize you still have a lot to be thankful for. So, I'm grateful for my wife. Okay, check. Yeah. No. Why am I grateful?
I like that.
That's when it gets personal. Because I can list, I'm grateful for my job. But why? Why are these things?
Right.
Why are these? And all of a sudden you'll realize, wow, I have a lot to be thankful for. And that can change, like you said, that can change your whole perspective in the morning.
That's right.
Waking up going, I got a list of things that I'm thankful for.
Right. And then, man, that has a whole effect on how you're going to experience this day.
Right. Yeah. Because going back to the beginning, we do have the choice and we do have the power to make the decision.
That's correct.
I do every other day. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I grumble, and then Tuesday, Thursday. Yeah. No, this is good. This is really good. Thanks, Scott.
Good.
All right, man.
All right, man. And I'm grateful for the good draft that the Raiders made this year.
Yeah. Well, the Raiders haven't lost a game yet this year, so that's good. You should be grateful for that.
They're in it.
Yeah.
They're in it, man.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, man.
All right.
Hey, thanks for being with us here on The Basics of Life, and we will see you next time.